Welcome to Feminized. It's time for a show that turns the spotlight on the powerful women shaping cannabis culture. The cannabis industry is on fire and women are sparking it up. If you like the show, please subscribe. You can also subscribe to the Feminized podcast with Liz Grow on YouTube and Instagram. The future is feminized. Today's guest is an award-winning cultivator from Canada, Genevieve Newton, aka Miss Newty Grows. She's the head grower and director of cultivation at Stewart Farms, an aquaponic and living soil farm in New Brunswick, Canada. And as it turns out, she's also a dope-ass mom with some deep experiences to share. Enjoy the episode. Hey sis, you're now listening to the Feminized podcast.
So I'm out of St. Stephen, New Brunswick. And so that is located on the Bay of Fundy, which is the east coast, the Atlantic Ocean. I'm very new to the area. I relocated here 6 months ago from Western Canada. So I drove cross country for this place. I love it out here. It's beautiful. I love the people. It's wholesome. It's rural. It's like a nice mix of the 80s and 2020. It's crazy. But yeah, we're right on the border of Maine. So the town closest to me, St. Stephen, is customs, like a border town. So we're just right there, right on the ocean.
That's awesome. That sounds incredible. I won't lie. I had to look it up, although I knew it was on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, Canada's a vast country, and in the middle, there's not much going on. So what was it like driving through?
Well, it was wonderful. I always have wanted to drive across Canada. Yeah. I originally am from Saskatchewan, which is that middle rectangle part.
Yeah, I know Saskatchewan.
I got 20 years old and basically started a little bit of school and then went off to Alberta where everyone was making money and doing stuff. And I was going to university, raising a kid. I did waitressing and bartending for like 10 years, hustling, like always, like 2-3 jobs, like just doing things. And I actually lived in Alberta for 18 years. So it's like where I did my like formative years, all that kind of thing.
Where you became a woman.
I was just ready to leave. Yeah, where I became a woman, exactly. Where my daughter became a woman. So I'm 43 and I have a daughter that's 23. She'll be 24 soon. And so I have a grown woman back home.
Oh my
she
God.
Just a couple of weeks ago. So I got to spend some time with her. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing that I miss from the West.
Oh, I bet.
But it is. Yeah, it was awesome, from the mountains through the prairies. Even the boring stuff was cool. Like, and it was during the summer, during a heat wave. I had no air conditioning in my Jeep. So my daughter drove across with me. So it was like a mother-daughter thing. I had my large dog in the back, my cat, who's a traveling man. It was a 9-day event.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I bet the pictures and the videos that you took from that trip were just priceless to you.
Oh, so beautiful. Like, it's just, I've traveled around Canada a lot in my life, and I am grateful for all the beauty that I've seen on the West Side, especially because in your 30s, you sort of start appreciating things, and so that's kind of where I get the gratitude from. But now being this age and being able to travel through Canada like that, and it was in the thick of COVID even, but just the beauty that surrounds, it's amazing. And being older, I have that gratitude, it's like every day I'm like, fuck yeah, it's beautiful.
Right.
All my windows are open and I can't hear anything, but it's just so beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's incredible. I mean, I definitely feel like we appreciate it more the older we get. I'm gonna take a bong rip with you, Genevieve. Yay, got a joint. Good. As we talk about getting older, I like to smoke more cannabis. But yeah, I'm 42 and I have a 16-year-old. So I'm kind of, I'm feeling that way too. She's not quite an adult, certainly not a grown woman yet. She'll be 17 in a couple of weeks, but it's like, these are really cool times when I can actually it feels like we're more than just mother-daughter. Like we're friends, in a way. I'm still mom, and I was a single mom for 11 years. So our relationship is very much mother-daughter, but I'm having fun.
That's good. And you know what? It gets better. Like I found the ages of like 13 to like 20, honestly, to be a little rough and like mean.
Yeah. It's hard.
I'm seeing the woman that she's turning into, and like how she's like, she moved out right at 17. She was like, or 18, or like after high school, boom, like out the door, just fiercely independent, which was crazy. But it's because she's just so good at life. Like she's just out there doing her thing, and they just get one experience that real life, I think, is when like, you know, you feel that gratitude from them, and it's just different. And you become best friends. We smoke weed together now, like, you know, and like, maybe not, I don't know how it is with you and your daughter, but when my daughter was 16, I was still hiding it and like doing things illegally. And, and so, honestly, I was abstaining from cannabis and everything else from about 2012. Before that, I'd used cannabis, but kind of like it wasn't really, I used it recreationally, medically, I guess, for hangovers.
Yes.
That's kind of the only time I used it, was for hangovers, and like, you know, nothing major. But anyways, in 2012, I had a serious drinking and drug problem with like cocaine, pills, alcohol, binge drinking, and I got clean and sober. I went to rehab 2 times. And so I just abstained from everything. I went to 12-step. I went to all the things, smart recovery. I dipped into church. Like I dipped into everything. Just it kept sober. And I'm glad and I'm grateful for all that. I've been sober for 10 years, just this year, actually, in January. Thank you.
Congrats.
But I got sick. And I think, I was sick, and it was 2015, 2016. And they were starting to give me some pretty heavy drugs. And in Canada anyways, we have like a prescription system where they can kind of see all your drama, really. And like, it's on my file that I'm a polysubstance abuser.
Oh, God, that sounds so serious.
I know, like I can't even get Tylenol at the hospital. I had surgery. Anyways, that's a whole other story. Wow. But, so I'm cautious of that, and that's fine. Like it keeps me sober too, right? Because the doctors won't give me anything. But you know, they started talking about like different cancer meds, and things that were just making me not feel good. Yeah. And so I started talking about marijuana and using it medically.
Mm-hmm. And what year was this?
This was 2015, 2016. Okay. And the recovery people that I was, you know, hanging out with or whatever, like marijuana bad, psychiatry, marijuana bad. Like my psychologist said that she wouldn't see me anymore if I decided to do it. 12-step recovery, like, nope, abstinence is the only way. Like basically my whole support circle was getting ready to just drop me like it's hot. And so I was like, shit. Like,
wow, that's like, healthy. That's really healthy.
Yeah, it was bad, but these were the new people in my life, because I don't know, like once you go into recovery, you basically have to give up your entire support circle and like friendships and family. Like I've really let go of a lot of things, and so at that time I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to like restart again. But it got so bad that like I wasn't eating. I had gone from 320 pounds to 150 pounds in like 5 to 6 months. This is before things got fixed up, before I got diagnosed. And anyways, my buddy just didn't want to see me in pain anymore, and he gave me a joint and said, just smoke this. And I was like, okay. Like they had me, the 12-step recovery people, the doctors all had me convinced that if I smoked this one joint, and that I was going to dive right back into booze and drugs, and like it was the gateway, right, for recovery. And I was so proud of my 4 years or whatever. And
yeah. And you were like, fuck, it might save me, but then it'll make me an addict again. You know, right, in the back of your mind, it's like a fucking either or choice.
Right. Oh. It's like, I was so living black and white that I think at that moment I decided to just live in the gray. And like, it was that choice in that moment. And that's defined the whole rest of my life now for the last 5-6 years. And that's basically, I took that weed joint. I actually felt hungry later and was able to eat. My pain went away. And it's not a cure-all, but it does cure a lot of symptoms. And it was the only thing that hit the stomach. I did not drink booze after after that. I did not dive into pills. I did not go smoke a line of cocaine. I just continued to medicate properly. And because I already had those coping skills and the psychology, and I had already dealt with the trauma, and I had already done the things that I needed to do for recovery, and I was maintaining really well, that I was able to I live in a place where I have to be mindful.
Yes.
So medicating, and yes, sometimes I do use recreationally, but it's still medicine to me. So even if I'm using all day, it's my anti-anxiety meds, you know? So take it for my colitis, but I also take it for my head, because I found out through medicating my body and being able to nourish my body again and gain a little bit of weight and muscle. And I started to feel better mentally. Like I was literally ready to kill myself because of just the intenseness of those few months, just losing all that weight, not being able to eat. It's not just physical, it's emotional too.
Yeah. Fighting for your life, You're fighting against society. You are fighting against society. You know, I mean, this is really a really great conversation that we found ourselves in, I think, because this is such a big reason why people are ashamed to talk about their cannabis use, you know, to be labeled an addict. And some people who have been labeled addicts, who are proud of their sobriety, who are seen as healthy people, use cannabis in the shadows because they don't want to be judged. And it's sick. It's a sickness. It's like, why do we keep making each other sick? Like, why can't we just like accept that we're all humans and we're all in pain, and we all, you know, do different things to deal with that pain, and we've got to support each other, and we've got to come together. You know, the turning your back on someone who is suffering, you know, from substance abuse is pushing them farther into those substances and worse, you know.
It's isolating.
It is.
Well,
and yeah. Right. And, you know, this whole concept and theme of loner stoner. And for me, I am, you know, we're just meeting each other today. And I hope this conversation just continues, you know, for as long as it can, because I think it's really important. But I get high, like a lot of stoners, I intellectualize. And for me, that has been my freedom, I think, when I was in such a low place that I wanted to take my own life. You know, when I, you know, was just so desperate. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You're thinking about some deep shit, you know? And I was like all stonering myself in my brain, you know? It's just like, okay, this is good. I'm going to be okay. And so, we need to, I'm a pusher. I want to push this on people who are struggling with addiction. Cannabis is a plant that you grow really fucking well. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I dove into it, was because weed's so expensive. And I know how expensive it is in Texas because I've been out there a couple times, and to get an ounce or two, it's ridiculous.
Yes. What is ridiculous to you? Just curious.
Last time I was out there, it was near Houston, and I paid $300 American for an ounce.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's so insane to me. Like, I can get $80 ounces Canadian out here.
Oh God. It's you know what, money, it's just money. It's only money. It's all fake.
It's still so illegal there, right?
It's still so illegal that you can catch a felony for any bit of oil with THC in it. Unless it is sanctioned by the state. There are only two manufacturers sanctioned by the state, and you have to belong to a pretty restrictive medical program called the Texas Compassionate Use Act. Not very compassionate at all. But this last legislative session, they opened it up to PTSD patients and all kinds of cancer. I'm a PTSD.
Oh yeah, they're super select.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But you know, it's opening up, and the fact is, I won't catch a felony if you know, I'm not worried about having THC in my blood. But you know, flower, we don't have a flower program, so. What do you think our black market looks like? Our Liberty market is what we call it. And, you know, we try to support our growers and we try to encourage people to grow their own. And, you know, that's part of why I'm doing this and just really getting the courage to like knock on your door, because I'm the lurker in the corner. Okay.
I was telling a couple of people about this podcast that I was doing and saying that it was from Texas, and they're like, Texas? Like, Texas is anti-weed. I'm like, that's why I'm doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. That's right. That's right. And, you know, we aren't anti-weed. We aren't anti-weed. There are people in power who shouldn't be in power. And we have an election going on right now. So, you know, we're very much advocates for change. And the Texan, you know, we are Texans.
People like you.
I'm sorry?
I see that from people like you and other friends that I have that grow out there. Like, it's definitely not easy, but that stigma exists big out there.
It does. It does. And, you know, it can feel like a big overwhelming, like, problem. But then, you know, I also remember that even if one woman is like, just inspired to try, to be like, wait, she reminds me of my friend, you know, or whatever story it is, you know, and it's just like, it's taking shape as it will, and as women do, you know. It's me just having the courage of saying, hey, will you be in my podcast, please? So we can do this thing. And, you know, this thing that we do all the time, we would have a conversation. You know, I work in media in Texas, and you are, you know, you're big time. You are big time Canadian bud. And so I would like to introduce you and what you do to the people who are interested in what I do, you know?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, right? Talk to us.
Yeah, so the reason I do a lot of things is because of awareness, education. I mean, that's how I learned how to grow. Was I started out on grow magazines, like online forums, before Instagram, I guess. And my dad kind of got started. He grows, and like really basic, like got me like just basically how to germinate, how to like kind of get things off the ground. And then I just sort of took off from there.
How old were you when your dad taught you?
Actually, it was just I only learned, he was growing weed in his bedroom closet for like 15 years before I even knew about it. I found out in my 20s and started talking about it then, because I stopped caring what my parents thought, I guess, like about weed and stuff. So it was like in my 20s, go from Edmonton back to Saskatchewan to visit. And, you know, I'd be hungover and be like, oh, Dad, you know, I'm just going to go smoke this joint outside. Like, I'm sorry. Like, don't try to, if you judge me, you know, like, I'm just out of here. And like, this one time he with me and he was like, I got to show you something. And like, he took me inside and like brought me into him and my mom's bed and like opened his closet, showed me these like weed plants and like gave me a bunch of bud and, you know, kind of got me set up, I guess, like just to start. And he's like, don't tell your mother. And I'm like, she doesn't know it's in here? Like, what? That's next level salute.
Seriously, you guys are sharing a bed, yo. Like,
yeah, like, that's crazy.
Yo, sleeping with the enemy, or
mid-20s, I guess. Like, I was maybe early 20s, yeah. But my dad had got me into gardening really early. Like, I would say dragged me into gardening because it's hard work, right? Like, so yeah. My grandfather gardened, and so I used to enjoy hanging out with him in the garden. And then my dad really got me into gardening. So horticulturally, I've been growing basically my whole life, just like hobby wise. Yeah. And social work is what I did for a job. And I did that for 15 years. And in 2018, when I realized how good I was at growing weed, and it was just by accident, really, like I started because it was way too expensive. And so I was like, hey, well, I grow my vegetables every year. I don't much like it, but I'll just fucking grow this weed too. And so when I started like looking into it, remembering some of the things my dad taught me, reaching out to him, getting more tips, and then like just getting obsessed in these magazines. I started journaling, taking pictures, like just falling hard and fast and in love. I was growing in my closet, in my craft room. I was living a married, domesticated life at that point. My partner at the time hated weed, didn't want anything to do with it, but it was saving my life. Yeah. And so he was kind of just letting me do my thing, but did very disgruntledly. I wouldn't say he was.
And you were 5 years sober at that point, right? Or, yeah. You started.
Yeah, he was kind of.
So he's like, it's a positive thing.
Yeah, like it's a positive thing, but then it started becoming an obsession almost, and then 2 plants became 10 plants, became 12 plants, I started doing edible, like the whole house was starting to become like, there's the processing section and so it was getting out of hand for sure on his side. But I was just so passionate that it just got to the point where it's like, hey, I don't want you growing weed in here anymore. And I was like, I'm going to leave then.
Yeah.
2018, I retired from social work, literally called it a retirement, didn't tell them where I was going because I was still at the time. Kind of went back to school for like 6 months just to get like a basic like foot in the door. Like I knew more about cannabis than really what I learned at this school, but the connections I made from that, the links that I got from that, like it was just so important that I took this little course. It got me into cannabis, and it just was like I grunted my way through different companies until I started just like last year. I was getting call after call. People are reaching out to this day. I'm still getting like the most recent thing I got reached out on was some guys like come out to Portugal for 3 years, like this stuff is going to start happening for me, which is why, I quit, because I just wanted to start. I don't know how to put it except for my whole sobriety. They tell you the only way you're going to stay sober is if you can replace your bad habits with good habits. And I couldn't find anything that I was happy to do, or like I found enough things to keep me sober and keep me busy, but nothing that I was passionate about, nothing that I wanted to like dive into. And it depressed me that I couldn't, like I have a guitar, I have a ukulele, I have all the crafts in the world. I have like, and I dabble in everything, but nothing that I was really good at and so weed saved my life, and then it changed my life. And so it's just, I just jumped into it, and I haven't regretted it since. Like, I feel like since I decided to take that step and change my life and do what I want to do and not just be a mom and a partner and take care of everybody, I've been thriving. Like I'm not saying I'm happy all the time and things are amazing all the time. I cry like 3 times a week, but like, it's only because I'm letting things out and I'm processing things as I go, and I'm living in the moment, and I'm just like taking things as they come. I'm walking a good path. I'm just being grateful for each day. And if I continue to do that and just keep going in the way that I need to go and respect myself and other people, I know I'm going to keep thriving.
Yes. Amen. Amen. I love that. It's just, that's beautiful. Like, I feel like that is truly living to the fullest, I know that other people maybe feel like that in other industries, but the fact that you're feeling that, no, but your
passion aligns with your work. Like, how many people can literally say that? My dad used to say to me all the time, make sure, he was really hard on me, like, go to school, which is why I jumped into social work. If it wouldn't have been social work, it would have been nursing, all those things you do.
Right.
But
we need those people.
Love your job. So if you don't love your job, it's not worth it. You have to get up every day and love your job. And I didn't love my job. I was passionate about people and passionate about helping, but I had helped a lot of people in 15 years and I was burnt out. So it's like, make a change. And I feel grateful that I got to make a change into something that I'm so passionate about. I'm lucky. It's like getting to be a singer, but like weed grower. Like little
I love you so much for that.
Rock star. Now I'm a fucking rock star, just a different way.
Yes. Fuck yes. Ooh, I probably
people are buying albums, but they're buying my weed.
That's right. That's right, baby. Oh my God. I want to know how can people buy your weed? Where can they find it?
So right now we're like a little locomotive. When I got over to Stewart Farms, that's the company. Mm-hmm. And so in Canada, how it works is you have to enter each province separately. And so province by province, Stewart Farms is coming for you. So currently our topicals are fucking fantastic. I would say the best in Canada.
What kind?
Bath bomb, creams, lotions, salts, all infused, high potency, some of the highest potency in Canada, like all the good stuff. If I could send it to you across the border, I would. You'd love it. You'd fall in love. Maybe we'll figure it out. We'll edit that out.
Maybe I'll come.
Yeah, come get it.
I've been known. We've been known to just go. But yeah,
you guys need to come out and visit. But anyways, the bath bombs and the topicals is already successful, and we're in basically every province, and that's what's been funding the weed stuff. So at Stewart Farms, we do a lot of pheno hunting, and so a lot of what I do is research and development. We're like it's like a teaching hospital, but it's weed, right? It's a teaching farm. So cool. We have scientists, we have different kind of grants for different kind of research and development projects. We're doing different things with soil. We're doing different things with aquaponics. It's all sustainable living, even down to our packaging with the bath bombs and the topicals. Everything is compostable. Like everything is, like
sustainability.
The weed industry is one of the most, yes, and it's so wasteful.
It pains you because it's like, yes, you want to get the product out to the consumer fast. You want to get it out to the consumer at a price that the consumer can afford. All of these things are factored in, as the role that I play in the industry is simply that of observer and taste tester, consumer. Right. I get to hang out with the cool people doing the fucking cool, hard shit. And I get it. Like, it's tough when you have to buy your own goddamn mold for your bottle, because the bottle has to be right, because it's your brand. Because if you don't represent your brand, it's going to fail anyway. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe in the US, at least. Yeah. Is that the vibe in Canada?
Oh, it's worse, man. Like you guys, the way that you guys can, I'll say in the legal, like out in California, like how they do some of their marketing and packaging and stuff. Yeah. Their hands are tied in some areas too, because of regulations. The regulations out here are insane. Like,
I know there's like black and white and shit. Yeah.
You can't have, we couldn't have hot pink. Like there's you can't have anything that's going to be attractive to children. And I understand that, but there's
my foot would be banned.
And they're childproof.
Look at my rolling tray. Come on, little girls, smoke this, little girls, when you're old enough to do it.
Yeah. But
anyway, so you can't do that.
It's hard. There's no marketing really yet, but it's because Canada's still so at the beginning of legal. Like we just got legal 2018, right? And so some of these states, although USA is not federally legal, California's been running a legal market for years, right? Washington, Oregon, some of these other, Colorado. So they have those same limits, just not as terrible. So luckily we can source some of our stuff from the States because they've already been doing it for a while. So we know your limitations. You need childproof packaging but you want it to, combustible or sustainable. Here you go. We already have this made out in America.
Oh, so that's cool. Great. So they let you do that.
We're starting to get some local or more Canadian. It's nice to stay within your own country, right? Always.
100%. For the loonies and the toonies, okay?
Yeah.
Put them back in.
So as this industry grows, more of those services are available in Canada. And so we have to outsource less.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I had one of the most, I think, inspiring conversations I had early on when we started to focus our media energy and resources into cannabis in the United States was with Bruce Linton. And it was around it was like 2018. And, right then, he was big dog. And he talked about the importance of, as a business, putting back into your local community and your state and your province and your country. That is what you just said. It was really cool because it just reminded me of what he said. So I think that's pretty dope that you are leading, everything, leading the cultivation team, at least at Stewart Farms, with that mindset that you have of local.
Like here in New Brunswick too, province to province. So we're in BC, we're in Alberta, we're in New Brunswick, we're in Nova Scotia. And it's like each province that we get into, it's awesome. Then we can start, selling our products to these provinces.
So what about flower?
Province. What's that?
Right. Sorry to cut you off. I'm just so excited to talk about what you're growing and flower, what you're excited about.
Topicals, the flower. We do pre-rolls. We're going to start doing edibles and extracts. So it's just like slowly we're picking up and moving along.
What about like strains? Like, do you
that's the kind of part that I like the best. And that's like the genetics, the R&D, the pheno hunting. So we also are a nursery and we sell, so here in Canada, if you want genetics, if you are a licensed producer and you want to introduce new genetics into your menu, you have to buy from another licensed producer. And so we produce some of the genetics that are now being sold at some of the bigger places. So right now I'm doing a pheno hunt with 14 different strains. And we're kind of at the end of that. So we're doing all the fun stuff, the harvesting, the drying, the curing, the testing.
Oh my God.
So we're compiling all of this information, the science stuff, and then we're going to start choosing some of these cultivars and then hopefully selling them to some of the other LPs so that they can start growing them. And then that weed, so it's not just our Stewart Farms weed that's getting released, we're releasing genetics to other LPs that then put that out into the market.
Oh
so
my
we're
God.
in good genetics from California. Kevin Gildry, who's my personal mentor now that I'm at Stewart, huge big deal out in California and all over the States and the world, really.
He's incredible.
Yeah. I just had a session with him on Friday. We chit chat like every couple months.
Oh my God. I was at it's the Supernatural Organic Cultivators Conference in Sturbridge, Massachusetts 2 weeks ago. And he was one of the speakers on the Outlaws panel.
He's an amazing speaker.
He zoomed in and we had our camera operator there and I'm just like watching him and my camera operator is like filming the Zoom. He's so good. Yeah. It's like, you're never going to use that footage, but he's like captivating.
Yeah. You just got to YouTube Kevin he's in everything. He doesn't really have anything of his own on there, but he's in way more stuff than I've ever seen anyone in because he's kind, he's motivating, he knows his shit. He's been growing since he was 13.
Yes.
He just knows shit and he's good at what he does. And I'm lucky enough to have a guy in my corner.
Right.
Not that I called him crying, but I call him for advice, like on how to handle certain situations or how to handle the drama in the cannabis industry, for example. And he will just give me a good mentoring session and it rejuvenates me and lifts me back up. And I'm like, yes, I'm a bad bitch and I'm going to go do this.
I love it.
Very good. I'm on a very good team.
That makes me so happy to hear. So that, here's a question, so this, what you do, as a cultivator, there aren't that many female cultivators in the game. And you're one of the top cultivators in the game, period. No matter what your genitalia is. Thank you.
Thank you.
But the future is feminized. But so what advice do you have for women who are like, I feel it. I feel the urge. I feel the pull. Because I know there are some Texas women out there who feel the pull. I mean, we are an agricultural state. We are a farmer. Texas women are tough as shit.
Yes.
So what advice would you give them about like entering into taking steps to cultivating, their own cannabis, whether it's low THC as hemp or high THC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like if they're going to cultivate and they're able to, I guess, like legally or illegally, just making sure people are being really cautious.
Oh yeah.
And not, that was one of the things my dad taught me too at the beginning was like, don't tell people about it. That's the first lesson is like, even like when it became legal, he's like, you go into the store and you tell them you're growing tomatoes and they'll help you out with what you need, it's like, but it's true a little bit, right? Especially if you're in a state and you're not legally growing. I'm sure there are people who can get licenses and whatnot, but like, just be careful.
Totally. Great advice. Great advice.
I came from illegal, like I grew illegally outdoors in the city and grew illegally indoors in the city. Like well before it was legal. So it's like, that's kind of the first thing is like, be careful who you tell shit to, and like, just, mind your business and
be smart.
Secondly, genetics, good genetics. So I would start with bag seed just to like get people's feel for it, you find the seeds in your weeds, save those, germinate them, just, get a feel for growing it, and then buy something that's more stable. Because I always start with good genetics. It would be the very first thing I would do. So I don't just get seeds from, Peter down the street. I look into what I'm getting, where I'm getting,
don't get Peter seeds.
They need 5 years minimum. They're working on these strains, there's so much science that goes into breeding. Yes. That if people aren't taking the due diligence to do that, I want nothing to do with their seeds. And only because it's a commitment. There's 78 seedlings in my tent, and every single one of them I know is genetically superior already. And I'm going to have to call that by half, right? So you want to start. It's a waste of months, basically. You could have something that looks great, and it's an unstable genetic, and then you get to flower. You're already 4 months in or 3 months in, and then Hermy.
Oof.
So it's
we've seen that happen. We've seen that happen.
So spend the money, or find the way to get the good stuff. Or if you just don't care, then grow the bag seed and grow the whatever, just to have fun with it or whatever. But get growing, basically. Growing.
Get growing, girl.
Get growing.
Get growing.
But people can reach out to me too. I don't mind fielding questions here and there in my DMs on Instagram.
But where can people find you?
You can find me over on Instagram at Miss Newty Grows. You can also find me on YouTube, but it's like old school. There's still some pretty solid tutorial videos in there, but don't be mean about it. Just go in and watch them, and if you don't like them, out, because that's where all the. But I was eager beaver 105. Some of them are cringy, probably. I'm not one to go back and rewatch anything.
Never apologize. You put information out there into the universe. Yeah, Thank you. You blessed us with your information. And if anybody doesn't like the way it looks, they can suck a dick. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
You head on over to YouTube and you Genevieve Eat Feed. That's me.
Yes, do it. You'll have at least 3 more subscribers because I control 3 of our accounts. So I got you, girl.
I'm also a production person on Cheap Home Grow, which was one of the very first podcasts I ever did. Shane and I and a couple of the other guys started growing with my fellow growers, which still continues now every Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
So I sometimes will jump on that every once in a while, or I used to produce a show called Hydro Hustlers there. And I just didn't have time to do any of that, because you know how time consuming it is to edit and go through things, or even just have the energy to do this stuff.
Yes.
So you for what
oh my
you
gosh. Thank you. Thank you.
A lot. So that's the other spot people can find me, is the Cheap Homegrown Nation. Those guys are my mentors as well.
Oh, incredible. I'm really wanting to tap more into Cheap Homegrown Nation and other shows that you think are really great for people who are just starting to grow. Because, obviously my toe has always been in the water, being in Texas. I have friends who are just starting to grow, or we're always just starting to grow, but it never happens because it is fucking work. Well, the Lord that led me down this path, sister, and I am here hosting a web series for Pro Cannabis Media. It's called Calling All Growers with Liz Grow. And I swear to you, Genevieve, it's because Jimmy Young, the producer, is like, your name is Liz Grow. And he loves me. But I'm just like, Jimmy, I am a humble student. And that may be why it works, because I'm going to ask you to be on, Genevieve. And it's all about growers. It's all about the people who want to learn to grow for real. Because, in this, in Feminized podcast, it's really, I'm just grateful you opened up as a woman, as a mom, just as a person, that feels really good. Calling all growers, your grower brain is going to be picked and prodded if you're into it.
Yeah, totally. I can talk about that stuff. I've been asked recently to be on a couple different, like this last year, I was invited out to Grow Up, which is one of our big like grower focused industry events, I guess, like MJ Biz and like those, whatever, that's Emerald Harvest, like things are going on out there, big events or whatever. Canada's just starting out.
Right.
And so I did a growers luncheon, a couple different speaking. I did a master class on soil. And then this year, because I did so well, and it was my first time doing something like that, I got asked right away to come back. And so I'm heading out to BC in June to speak at do a couple master classes out there for their Grow Up in Victoria, which is my favorite city in Canada. So I'm super excited. A separate lady who recently did an article on me, she asked me to be on their growing panel for, like, they have it's Canadian Women in Cannabis. Wow. And so they're going to have a table out there, and they also want me out there. So separately, I'm in high demand.
All of the flowers.
Love it. Point being is I love it.
Yes. You're germinating, baby.
Yeah. I'm just like saying yes to things that feel comfortable and feel good. And I honestly don't say yes to all the podcasts, but if I have, like, I'm a good empath. I feel good feelings. I felt good feelings. You came as a reference from Stu. So then, yes, it's just like a yes. Like, it's like, if people ask me, it's either a yes right away, or it's if it's a and then it's a no. Yeah.
Life is too short. I have too much shit to do, or I'm doing nothing and loving it. Okay. I'm not going to do anything I'm not like, fuck yeah about. And we have to do that. And what's really cool too, I think, about what Feminized podcast is we can make it a network. I have a really dope team in place that is ready to push them out. And it's like, it feels so good to know, like, as you said early on, when you started, when you know your place, when you align your purpose with your thing, it's just like, it's not work. I'm in it. And that's what it is for me, to be like maybe the spotlight holder or the fucking megaphone. I don't know what it is, but man, I'm building an awesome channel for awesome people who lift other people up. And I get to just focus on women. And it feels really fucking dope. And I'm just grateful that you are a part of it. But I do have an initiation. Dun, 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 dun. I'm Texas. Okay. I've got an initiation. I was just playing. Okay. Okay. So 3 questions. I asked 3 questions of all my guests. Okay. First question is, who is in your dream smoke circle, dead or alive? 3 people.
3 people? Yay. Okay. Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg. They're both alive, thank God. And Dolly Parton. I bet that she'd with me.
Oh my God. That is an epic smoke circle. Epic smoke circle, man. The addition of Dolly was a wild card.
Dolly's not. We'll bring Martha Stewart in. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and of course I'm automatically allowed in because it's my game in my mind. So, thank you. Okay.
Bring your
I will. It changes daily. Okay, so second question. Okay. What other woman is killing it in the game right now as you see it? Who's inspiring you?
Oh man, there's so many women out there right now inspiring.
The hard one.
Okay, so in the States, it would be Sue, obviously, and Rad Reefer. Both of those women, like, any post or any reel or anything I see from them, it's uplifting, it's kind, it's like, there's no ego, it's funny, or it's like, I love that song, or it's like I aspire to be them in Canada.
Yes.
And it's been like that for me for like 3 or 4 years. And it's just like, I feel like a little girl. I've always wanted like a female mentor in the last like few years. They like a grower, like, and I just haven't been able to find that because there's just there wasn't really years ago any head growers in Canada. I looked. Now there's only a handful of us, so it's very minimal. And so I haven't really
leading the pack
look up to. And so I want to be that person for people trying to come into the industry. And so when I see Sue or I see Rad Reefer, I'm like, that is the exact image, because that's how I feel. And that's what I want to portray. I want to be genuine. But I want to be cool too. Yes. I don't want to be, just all those things, so that someone can say, hey, if they can do it, I can do it, because I actually am doing it now. So it's going from climbing that and just trying to reach for and having those female mentors is so fucking important. So important. Somebody in Canada that I look up to. I have a friend in Ontario, growing with Natalie. Natalie, she's probably someone that she just is like perseveres.
Yes.
She perseveres in cannabis, and not just in cannabis, but she's like me, where she's, in her 40s, and she quit her job as well and went back to school. And now she's doing a full farming degree. So it's it's like people like that really inspire me. So it's just the regular everyday people that are either doing their housewife thing or leaving the housewife thing and like getting ready for the second half of their life. So it doesn't have to be anyone like celebrity status. For me, it's like I'm pulling inspiration from the people around me. Katrina, my neighbor, like just everybody.
Yes.
Especially women, but some men too.
Oh,
I don't want to just, there's so many fabulous men, and that's
absolutely
real dickheads, but there's some real good men,
Absolutely.
And that I can work with. My second, for example, Ross, like my guy at work, not a lot of men can work with women, like it's
good
and
point.
I mean, for sure, but like
good point.
It's hard to take direction sometimes from a woman, and he comes at it with no ego, and those are the men that I want to work with, are the men where I can brainstorm with, I can be vulnerable with, and not, have them come at me in a way that they need to best me,
Oh, yes, I do.
Like the big
so few, I married one, which is a blessing. Oh my God. He's wow. And then Tanis, my producer for Feminized, is one as well. And it's just like, thank you. We can all be strong together, and we are stronger together because you do this and I do this, and bada bing, we're doing some things,
Yeah. Being able to work with men and women that can come together, and like at Stewart Farms, I'm on a leadership team with 4 other women. And I know from work that doesn't always work, but it works with us. Like we are all the same kind of passionate, kind, and like strong women, and we get you there. So
yes.
And the CEO Tanner sees that, and he didn't hire us because we were women. He hired us. Like people tell him all the time, oh, that looks good, man. Like, and me, I'm Indigenous, right? Oh, you have an Indigenous woman running your cultivation team, or you got 3 other women running your team. Like, man, that looks good. He will lay down and cut a bitch. Like, he gets mad when people talk. He's like, I did not hire them for their genitalia. Like, I hired them because they're the best at what they do.
Yeah. So can you quit?
We'll have that kind of guy having our back too, rather than trying to control us, which is like most of the CEOs that I've dealt with in weed, it's like more of a, how can I puppet master this? Or you're like a yes person, right?
Oh,
whereas here, executive decisions, or talk it out, or be creative, or make decisions and not worry about,
Yeah. And just not second guess it, because this is my partner. I've chosen this partner in business and I trust them. It's like, that's
it allows for freedom.
Definitely. Love that. Okay. So great answer. Question number 3. Yes. No, I love it. It's going to be phenomenal. And I'm going to cut promotional videos and things out of this. I mean,
that's
really great.
Cool,
yeah. So you're going to get some good stuff. Eventually it's going to be rolled out. Anyway, I'll let you know when it does. But third question.
Okay.
What advice do you have for your 13-year-old self?
Aw. My inner child. Me and my inner child play all the time.
Oh.
Well, I know. I would tell her, I would tell her that I love her, and I would tell her that she's beautiful, and I would tell her that just to keep going.
Yeah.
And that I know she's going to keep going, but you got this. You could do it. You have big plans in the future. Just get through this little hump in your life, and you are going to be fine, girls.
Oh, I love that.
Smoke some weed.
Go smoke some weed. Oh, I could feel that. And it went back in time. No, that's beautiful. And I am just, I'm so thrilled that we got to meet and we met like this too. We got down to it.
Yeah. It's perfect, right?
So
I was
perfect.
hoping I was going to get it in time, and I did.
Oh, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. It's just, it's true. It's true. The seed is feminized, it's the, the part of the plant that gives us the, the biggest, most THC, we have to break that down in Texas. And in a lot of places, there's a lot of undereducated people who are like, I want to be high, and they don't really understand what it's about. And, feminized is so many meetings. And, for me, it's like being able to serve the plant through spreading the word of these women who are fighting the fight every day, and just growing it that way, because that's how we're going to grow it, get people voting in the right ways, hearts and minds, moms, the women and the daughters and the, of aging mothers, the daughter-in-laws of aging mothers who ghosted her, maybe.
People and changing society. So.
You got to do it, man. You need it. You're almost 80.
Yeah, more women should come into the field of cultivation. There are so many women in the weed industry, which is amazing. Every company I've gone to, there's been tons of women. The last company I was with, there's tons of women, but it's cultivation, right? And you said it, like this plant that we're trying to cultivate is a female plant. And so we are females. And as females, if we dig into that, we can connect to this plant unlike anyone else. And so if there's more women growing this weed and growing this cannabis, there's going to be way better weed on the market. Like it just is.
Amen, my sister. And this coming from, the boss, basically, of weed in Canada. No, I mean, seriously, you have quite a reputation. And it's because of the love you put into it, clearly, and the belief that you have that it can, change people and heal people. Because that's really what it's about. That's what it does when we laugh. We have a giggly strain. It's healing. If I have
to heal the world.
Yes.
One person. I'm a healer. I've been a healer my whole life. I was a healer before I got to cannabis, and I'm just doing the same kind of healing in a different way with a different thing.
That's right. That's right. And, you're blessing all of us as a result. And I hope that, this podcast is heard by so many people and inspires so many women and men, of course. And just to even look closer, just lean in, because you'll never go wrong. Yes, it is this cool. It is this awesome. It is. It's not too good to be true, is what I'm saying.
You have to work really hard and just doing that.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And it become easier as we overcome them, I think. And then you get to the cool stuff. That's right.
That's right. You do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do.
Yes, right? Exactly. I
think Oprah said that.
Great.
Or Maya Angelou. Either Maya Angelou or Oprah. But, both wise women.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I love this. Okay. So I'm going to let you know when all this happens. I'll email you, you email me, you have my phone number, and I'm really, really, truly grateful for you for doing this.
I'm grateful for you too. And thanks for getting all the word out.
If you'd like more, subscribe to the Feminized podcast on YouTube. Follow at Feminized with Liz Grow on Instagram. Special thanks to our sponsors, Moose Labs and Richard's Rainwater. The Feminized podcast is a Grow House Media production, created by Liz Grow, produced by Patrick Pope and Tanis Ray, with original theme music and audio mixing by Q at Q to King Productions in New Braunfels, Texas.